Rogers doesn't just provide the signal, they own the silence. Most people think Rogers Communications just sells phone plans and Wi Fi. Every empire that survives isn't built on volume, it is built on control of access. And Rogers mastered that in a country that thinks it is too polite for monopoly power. Now, let's decode an empire you probably use every single day, yet barely think about. Rogers Communications, the most quietly powerful company in Canada, at least one of them. In a nation obsessed with politeness and regulation, Rogers built its fortune not through innovation, but positioning. They didn't invent the signal, they owned who got to broadcast it. In the early days, Ted Rogers saw the truth behind every communication revolution. It is never about what people say, it is about who owns the wires they say it through. From FM radio transmitters to cable television to mobile networks, Rogers became the Canadian Vatican of connectivity. Every message needed their blessing to exist. And while Silicon Valley screamed disruption, Rogers whispered integration. They wrapped media, sports, entertainment, internet, and telecom into one vertically synchronized ecosystem, a quiet, efficient monopoly disguised as public service. The average Canadian doesn't just consume through Rogers, they live through Rogers. Your phone, Rogers. Your news, Rogers. Your hockey games, Rogers. Your internet, Rogers. That is not market share, that is psychological sovereignty. Now, let's talk about something few acknowledge. Canada's telecom tripoli, which is Bell, Rogers, and Telus. It isn't competition, it is choreography, a power sharing dance designed to maintain stability under the illusion of choice. And Rogers leads that dance with the grace of an old world empire, polite on the surface, absolute beneath. But the real genius came in 2023 with the Rogers Shaw merger. That wasn't just consolidation, it was territorial expansion. Shaw wasn't a company, it was a region. And Rogers didn't acquire it, it annexed it. The move secured control over Western Canada's communication arteries, a digital conquest wrapped in regulatory paperwork. And what is more fascinating, Canadians didn't riot, they shrugged. Because control wrapped in familiarity doesn't feel like control. This is the art of empire in modern democracies. Own infrastructure, and you never need to own people. They will pay you for dependence. Rogers is proof that modern monopolies don't need tanks or tariffs. They just need towers and enough bandwidth to make this connection unthinkable. Now, let's look at the philosophy underneath. A great man once said, the best way to predict the future is to invent your own rules. That is not business advice, that is doctrine. Because Rogers doesn't follow industry trends, it writes the regulation, it funds the narrative, sponsors the sport, and controls the cultural choke point. When people argue about internet outages, guess who dominates the news cycle covering it? Rogers Media. That is self reinforcing power, a feedback loop where you own the medium and the message. This isn't capitalism in motion, it is feudalism with fiber optics. But here is what empire builders should pay attention to. Rogers didn't win by being liked, it won by being needed. And in a networked world, necessity beats novelty every time. The company's true moat isn't technology, it is national dependence. When you control a nation's ability to connect, you don't compete, you govern quietly. So, the next time your Wi Fi drops, remember that is not a service issue, that is a reminder that you live inside someone else's empire.